I went from 360 pounds and in horrible health to 245 pounds in just over a year. And today I want to share exactly how I did it. Not as some sort of perfect fitness guru, but as a regular husband, father, and a guy who just had to start all over. My name's Brandon Wallace. I started posting my fitness journey on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube a little over a year ago. Everything from sharing some tips and advice, PRs, and just general updates on my weight loss. If you're here listening to this, odds are you're feeling stuck, or you want some type of change in your life. Or maybe you're just curious if somebody who's been where you are can actually turn it all around. You can. But first, a little bit about myself. A little over a decade ago, I thought I had this all figured out. I was a young dad worried about having the stereotypical dad bod. So I lost about 50 pounds with the help of my coach and good friend, Joe Stanek, which funny enough, I introduced him into the gym in high school. And then in our 20s, he introduced me into powerlifting. With his help in 2015, I competed in my first USAPL meet and went 5 for 9. Despite not being the best performance, I was excited and thought I was on a better path. Little did I know I would walk out of the gym a few months later and wind up taking 9 years off. Those 9 years weren't a sob story. I met my wife and we started our family. I even started down a career path I was pretty excited about and felt very proud of. But slowly and quietly, the weight crept back on. I kept saying next month, next week, next paycheck, everything except right now. And let me be clear, my life wasn't miserable because I was overweight. My marriage was good and I love my kids. But my health was failing and I knew I wasn't being the man I knew I could be for myself or for them. To add insult to injury, due to a long list of reasons, we ended up having to move back in with my parents. It was humbling and I was probably at the lowest point in my life. Knowing that things weren't great, I kept pressing on. Then my oldest son's wrestling season came to an end and made a choice that we would start going to the gym together so he could get stronger. Except something kind of happened that I wasn't expecting. We started in March 3 days a week and he was making really good progress, but I could feel myself really getting excited about going to the gym again. Like a piece of me that was missing fell back into place. Something about being underneath a barbell just really got me excited to lift heavy weights again. A couple of months in and I was benching 350 for a triple, an all-time PR. And then after watching IPF Worlds, it hit me. I wanted to compete in powerlifting again, but first I really wanted to lose the weight. So with Joe in my corner once again, I set the goal to lose the weight and compete in 2025. Between March and August, I counted every calorie, tracked every macro, got 8,000 to 10,000 steps. I trained 4 days a week. It wasn't glamorous. It wasn't exciting. There was no magic secret, just honestly boring, consistent effort. And when I started seeing progress, life decided to throw another curveball at me. My wife was pregnant once again. This added a whole new level of stress to my life, which also put pressure on me to find a new place to live again. By August, I had dropped about 50 pounds and me and my wife had found a new place to live. But those next few months were pretty brutal. New routines, new stress, and pressure to stay on track. However, I promised myself that I would get under 300 pounds before my daughter was born. And with just a few days to spare, I weighed in at 298. From that point, I took a little bit of a break to really get to enjoy my daughter's birth. I didn't go crazy, I didn't gain any weight back, but I let myself just enjoy life. My daughter was being born. I didn't want to spend time tracking macros and worrying about hitting protein goals. I just wanted to enjoy holding my daughter for the first time. And you know what? That balance, being okay with stepping back for a little bit without giving up, was part of the lesson. However, I did know I still had work to do. By the time my paternity leave ended in January, I was back on track and down to 275. If you're still watching this, then you should probably hit that subscribe button for weekly videos about losing weight, keeping it off, and taking back control of your life. Here's the truth. If you haven't figured it out, weight loss is boring. It's not exciting. It's not sexy. It's just boring, consistent effort, doing the little things every single day that nobody celebrates. I tracked my weight daily. I tracked my macros. I got my steps. It wasn't always perfect. Sometimes I missed my step goal. Sometimes my calories were over, but I was consistent enough to do something that millions of people set out to do and ultimately either give up or fail. After losing 100 pounds, it was at this point that I knew that I wanted to help others do what I had done. And that's lose weight, keep it off, and take back control. As I got closer to the 120 kilo weight class, I signed up for a Powerlifting America meet in Kenmore, New York. With Joe's help, I prepped, I stabilized my weight, and on meet day, I went 9 for 9, setting PRs in all 3 of my lifts, even after losing 100 pounds. After some wings to celebrate and a week off from the gym, I knew the journey wasn't over. Since then, I've still been cutting, and right now, I'm shooting to get to about 225 by Thanksgiving, which at the time of recording this, I'm about 20 pounds away. Then in 2026, I plan on to step on stage at my first bodybuilding show at the Summer Shredding Bodybuilding Competition. But this isn't just about me. This is why I started Momentum Fitness, to help people who are feeling stuck, or maybe they know they could be doing more and don't know where to start, to help parents that are juggling kids, bills, and self-doubt, to show that even after failing or letting yourself go, that you can start again. You don't have to become a powerlifter or a bodybuilder. Most people want to feel better, and that's where I want to help people thrive. Here's the thing. I didn't do anything special. I didn't create some modernized, amazing program. I didn't do anything that's going to revolutionize the weight loss world. I've watched people lose twice the weight I have in half the time. I had a great coach that helped me lose weight and helped me become stronger, and that's what I want to do for people. Even when I had stress, family setbacks, sleepless nights, and times I wanted to give up, I kept going because my story wasn't over. And you might be thinking, yeah, but you don't know my story. You're right, I don't. But I do know this. Anybody can implement small, simple changes. It's not going to be perfect right away. You're not going to understand how to do it. And you're going to need to ask questions or look up answers. You're not going to get it right in the first go. You're going to mess things up. You're going to make mistakes. But if you let yourself get held back by the mistakes that you might make, then you're never going to see progress. If I got caught up on every mistake I made, I would have never lost 115 pounds. Don't wait for the perfect moment because it doesn't exist. Start now, start messy, just start. Because a year from now, you could be the one sitting here saying, I can't believe how far I've come. If you enjoyed my story at all, hit that like button and I'll see you next time.